This week, we're diving into Ghost of Yotei, catching up on Hades 2, and even dusting off Super Mario Galaxy 2. But with so many games, rising costs, and so little time, we're asking the question, is it finally time we all embraced slow gaming? Plus, in this week's Pixel Pick Showdown, it's all about those titles that take their time to reward you. We crown the best slow burn game. All this and more on this week's Pixel Parents Podcast. Hello and welcome to the next episode of the Pixel Parents Podcast, the show that discusses all things gaming from the perspective of parents. I am your host, Liam Kirkkelvin, and today I am of course joined by the bearded one, Scott, the tastemaker. Curry, how are we, Scott?
I'm very well. I'm very well actually. It's certainly been a week, and I'm very excited for this show, Liam. Incredibly excited for this show. This has been a show that this episode has been coming for a while, and yeah, I'm just excited to delve deeper into it. So I'll let you tell us how you're feeling, how you're doing these days, and we'll get to that point.
I am very intrigued. Well, first off, whilst I'm telling you what I'm doing, right, I'm going to get you to go into your system settings, Scott, and just turn your mic down just a little bit. Just do that for me. I'll thank you later when I'm coming to look at this recording that we have here. But I'm good. It's been a good week. Lots of cool new games as always, but I'm finding myself a wee bit just, I don't know, scunnered, first world problemed out a little bit on the gaming front because there is just too much. I'm at the buffet table and I've did the classic mistake. I've just filled my plate and I'm like, I'm going to eat all that pakora. Nah, no chance. I should have just stopped with a small handful of chicken. Next thing you know, I'm walking away with vegetables, you name it, sausage rolls. That's what it feels like just now. Good problem, and it keeps on coming. There was some big news this week, Scott, which is the potential game of the year, Power War Simulator 2. Is actually going to be out this month as well. So the hits just keep on coming, man. And there's still like for Jurassic World Evolution game on the horizon as well, to name but a few. Damn, man, we are eating good. But yeah, I'm really intrigued to see what this is because, you know, this isn't a bit. Scott genuinely hasn't told me a bloody thing. So I need to know. There's that cheeky smile on his face. I'm filled with excitement, but also a little bit of fear. Just
do you want to get it over and done with now, or do you want to talk about, you know, what you've been playing first?
I think let's get the surprise out the road. Let's talk about that.
Okay.
Yeah, why not? Let's do that.
Let's get the surprise out the road. Are you ready? Are you ready?
Yeah, drum roll, please.
Your man has a Switch too.
Yep. Oh, good grief, he's done it. He's done it, ladies and gentlemen. We have won. Nintendo, I expect my bag of cash any day now, thank you. I am the salesman of the year, but this is tremendous news, Scott. How you find it?
I regret to inform everyone that it's phenomenal. I hate it. I hate it so much. I hate the satisfaction that clicking the Joy-Cons on gives me. Like, clicking those things on and off, it gives me the most satisfaction I think I've felt in a very long time. Hades 2. What more can you say with it? I managed to trade in a couple of things at the end of last week and got Donkey Kong Bonanza for £1. So I was like, I might as well.
And I
played it for 5 minutes. I got the expansion pass for Breath of the Wild as well. So I'll eventually get to that. And the good thing is I got a family membership, or I got a year-long membership for Nintendo Switch Online, so now I'm fucking committed to the bit. So it's like, Soul Calibur 2 was fucking destroyed the first night I got it. Like, the wee one was like, can we play Donkey Kong? And I was like, no, we need to play something else. So I was playing that. And I've got plans for it, Liam. I have plans for this Nintendo because it's going to be November very soon. So I'm going to devote the entire month of November to the Nintendo Switch. I'm going to do it I
Okay.
also got Final Fantasy Tactics on it as well. That has been the 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 ember to this fire was seeing is it Pietro on Blue Sky kept on posting pictures of playing fucking Final Fantasy Tactics on it. I was like, I want to do that.
Yeah, shout out to
I
Pietro.
want to do that. Like, I want to be playing Final Fantasy Tactics on the toilet. I want to be doing that. So
I told you, you've upgraded your
I'm
jobby
telling
game.
you,
That's what you've
this
done.
would not have come into my life had I not won £500 last week. Like, would not have happened. There was no interest in it. And then the minute that money hit my account, I was like, we're going to Argos. Get in the car, everyone. We're going to Argos and we're getting this bitch. And yeah, it's been a welcome addition to the home. I'll tell you that.
You love to hear it, and I told you, Scott. It's just the whole experience. I'm sure you'll agree now is just improved.
It's
Holding that thing in your hands when you take out the box, did you have that feeling of, oh wow, this is actually nicer and bigger than I thought it was going
the
to be?
scary thing is having just played Fire Emblem for 40, 50 hours on a handheld console and then picking this up. It was like, it's like holding a mobile phone and an iPad next to each other. It's like, what the fuck am I doing here? Like, what is the point in this?
That's true.
It's and the weight of it, like it's weighted so perfectly. It feels more premium than like you feel that the Nintendo Switch was held together by fucking rubber bands at that point. But this thing just feels like a proper piece of kit, which is pretty good. So
Yeah. Yeah.
it's nice. I'll give them that. It's a nice thing. And
Excellent. And
yeah, I'm not feeling the burn from it yet. So it's not like your buyer's remorse, which is good.
no, I mean, this is the start of the journey. You know, you're going to be getting years out of that. You look after your stuff. You're going to have that for a good 7, 8 years, like you did the Switch, the OG Switch. And yeah, there's plenty more games to come. You've got a good batch of games to keep you busy. Yeah, man, it's a wise investment.
It's just
Very,
ridiculous.
very chuffed for you. And it's good. He's finally on the trolley.
On the trolley. We're here. We're here, everyone. We managed to do it. The fact that we held out this long is impressive. I'm kind of calling it as a birthday gift to myself. So there you go.
Well, that's it, you know. If you can't love yourself, how are you going to love anybody else? I suppose the wise person once said. But yeah, I think we've got lots to catch up on. First, I want to dig into Hades 2 on that. But before we do, we'll get some housekeeping out the road, shall we? So, of course, for those listening, this is the Pixel Parents Podcast, the weekly podcast by parents who game for those who do the same, where each week we discuss all things gaming whilst raising our little ones. Now, every Friday, you can listen and see your old dads talk video games and pish on YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. So please subscribe to us on YouTube if you're not there already, so you don't miss our mugs. And if you want to be part of the podcast, come say hello and share your thoughts with us at pixelparents.bsky.social on Blue Sky, or write to us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com. And if you want to support the show, join our free Patreon so you don't miss an episode, chat with the community, and get bonus shows all free. That's right, gratis, not grifting. Sorry, Scott. At patreon.com/pixelparents. And if you're not on Patreon, you can leave a wee 5-star review on your podcast platform of choice and share this podcast online with your friends. Whatever you do, it really helps us out. And of course, thank you to everybody that joins us each and every week. So, without the way, Scott, you got a Switch too. We know you've been diving deep into that. We talked about it last week as a potential Game of the Year candidate, as I was saying. Now, we won't linger on it too long because we did cover it. But what's your thoughts on Hades 2 now that you've had it in your hands?
It's good, Liam. It's very good. It's
this man's eating a dictionary today.
Mate, it's. Do you know? You were talking about it improving on the first one, like the whole concept last week on games that improve on their sort of the first versions of them, and this does that with Hades substantially, like in every single possible way. It's so fucking good. I'm just getting there with it though, like trying to get back into the swing of what who are all these characters, like what do they all do, what are the best buffs, best boons to pick up and stuff like that as well, what work together, what don't work together. It's like this mental math that you have to play constantly, and then tying that in with, you know, try to remember which ways to go in certain areas and what to do and stuff like that as well. And it's brilliant, man. It is genuinely brilliant. I can't believe how good it is and how good it looks. You said handheld. I was like, right, okay, surely not. And fucking right enough. It's
Sensational,
a
isn't
half
it?
hour before bed, and I'm satisfied,
Yeah.
genuinely satisfied. Just in bed, just take a switch to bed with me before I go to sleep sometimes. And there I am, happy to sink in one
Well,
wee run, and then I'm good to go.
I am doing the exact same. Like, this became the ritual over the past fortnight, and one of the things I love about the Switch 2 is the Bluetooth functionality, so I can just pop the AirPods on, and it's like, right, I can listen to that. Wife is sitting reading the book, I can get that wee half hour in, great, and you're like, I've did a wee run, feel pretty good, and it's just encouraging that experimentation, isn't
Yeah,
it? Like,
it's
so damn good, man, just pure
aye, and
greatness.
it's constantly moving you forward. Like it's constantly feeding you bits of scraps of story that like constantly want you to move forward. Like you've got the incantations and stuff like that, things that you can constantly add to it. It's aye. I found myself today like doing certain things just to get runs over with to see what happens next because I'd found stuff. It's just like let's just do this quickly and end the run. But I managed to make it to the big cheese once, and
Yeah.
I thought, oh my god, I've done it, and then I didn't. I get absolutely fucking tanked like 2 seconds later. But I love it, man. It's brilliant, and I'm so happy to have it back in my life because it's a game that
Yeah.
with Hades I always felt like it was I played it for so long and then just completely fell off it. Whereas I feel like this one could like stand the test of time because it's on the Switch and it plays well. Like it's something that I can constantly just go back in and play. So aye, I'm into it, man. Fantastic
Yeah,
game.
excellent, excellent. I think I'm with you, man. Like, I played Hades on the Xbox actually, and played that. So it was a bit late coming towards it. Then I purchased it again on Switch, and I immediately just couldn't be bothered. Even though it was amazing, I was like, I don't know if I want to start again, like from scratch. I just really wanted to pick up from where I left off on the Xbox. And you're right. The fact that this is on the go, it's ideal for those little kind of sessions if you've got a spare 20, 30 minutes in the day. And that's what it's all about for
Yeah.
us, you know what I mean? Because that's what we're talking, especially, Saturday afternoon or something like that. We're hitting the rainy patch of the year. You might be having a wee afternoon in. It's like, maybe get a wee cheeky half hour again, and I'm away, wait at the toilet, wait at the bathroom. So or you could just sit on the couch, not doing the toilet.
Just you shouting at the screen.
The Switch has many uses, but yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. I'm just delighted that you've got your hand to. We'll give it a little bit more time before we come back with some final scores and stuff like that on it. But I mean, yeah, I've been doing the same, just been plugging away at that as part of the ritual. But Scott, I have another game I want to talk about this week. Man's got notes.
Ooh.
Man's got notes. Try to do this properly here, but yeah, I finally got my hands on it. Released when last week's episode went live, so we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but I did get my hands on Ghost of Yotei, code provided by myself. So yeah, I went in with more expectations of this game just being more of the same, But after playing it, I have to say, I'm really impressed just by the game's overall approach to open world gameplay. So if you've played Ghost of Tsushima, which we both have, both platinumed it, you know the setup. It's an open world, third person, PlayStation exclusive epic from Sucker Punch, part of PlayStation Studios, set centuries ago in Japan. So at this time, you're playing as Atsu, the titular Ghost of Yotei, and the game just gets right into things and quickly establishes her as being different from Jin Sakai, who's the hero of the last game, and purely because she's driven by this real lust for revenge, whereas Jin embarked on this kind of battle of going against the traditions of the samurai and doing anything he can to stave off the Mongol invaders as well. But I think what Yotei does a great job of here is setting the stakes really early on as just a very simple revenge tale. So it's really Western in its tone. So it's very different from Tsushima's war epic vibe as well. And Atsu, I have to say, is great. I think the performance, even from what I've played so far, say about 10 hours or so. I think she carries way more emotion than Jin so far, as opposed to just being a very stoic, contemplative, main character. Here you've got one that almost encourages that need to get in a fight with anyone standing in your way effectively. So she's got one focus, for better and worse. And I'm just excited to see where it's going. I mean, early doors, the story has already served up some tasty beats, so I'm very excited to carry on with that. Have to say, it's a very similar setup to Assassin's Creed Shadows, albeit a more streamlined version, which actually serves as a revenge tale a little bit better, to be fair. But I do have to say, as well, I'm going to keep carrying on with this, Scott. I'd probably advise that maybe you just unplug and plug your mic back in, because it sounds a little bit pixely on this end, just a heads up. Whilst I know, the gremlins are getting you tonight, mate. There we go. Listeners will do our best to sort that out as we go. We'll keep things going whilst I'm on a roll here. But visuals wise, it's easily one of the best looking PlayStation 5 games out there. Ghost of Tsushima, though, was a looker. And this one just goes that wee step further, which I think is kind of the general theme of Ghost of Yotei. Every inch of this world, man, is an absolute visual delight. The vibrant colours coupled with a day-night cycle that I have to say never outstays its welcome. It's just, the only way I would describe the visuals is they're mouth-watering, a proper feast for the eyes. It was also just really kind of them to add a game onto what is a photo mode. So I really appreciate that from Sucker Punch, because you are going to spend hours in this game's photo mode, which makes the return as a very much a feature of what you do in here. It's part of the experience, I would say, albeit additive. You're going to want to take your screenshots and share it, and I've been loving that as well. But the absolute cherry on top, this is the thing that's really impressed me, is its approach to open world design. I feel that this has been a real surprise for me. I think in the vignettes and all that in the lead up to it, Sucker Punch had hinted that they want to lean more into more of a player choice orientated, open-ended approach. And I thought, to be honest, more fluff. I'm just going to get the usual, quest board and all the rest of it. But they've kind of tweaked that slightly with these cards that kind of do act as a quest board. But it's just a little bit more of a streamlined approach to it. But it's encouraging you to just kind of step forth, discover things, and take these quests on effectively at your own will. And it's a more open-ended approach. I think they've succeeded remarkably well, to be honest with you, because the game is just constantly serving up these distractions to pull you away from what I would say is more of a straight line approach in the world. Going from point A to point B is, that was a rarity for me playing this. And I'm quite partial to a golden path. I'm quite partial to just doing the point A, clearing up the story, and then going and doing the extra stuff after. That's usually my approach with it. But I'm just loving just being led by what's in front of me here. Just changing up the activities, making discoveries as you go, and gaining cool abilities and armor and all that on the way. I just didn't expect it. And I'm just so impressed that Sucker Punch, I feel they've really struck a balance almost perfectly here. See, almost. Feels a little bit more Red Dead Redemption 2 than Assassin's Creed this time round. So it's more spontaneous than the checkbox, and easily the highlight of the experience for me. As for combat, though, I do have to say the parry system and the light rock, paper, scissors kind of a system that's in there in terms of certain weapons that you use here in certain situations is still there. It's still a very good system, but it's a weaker point for me. However, I do think that the game will build upon it, the layers, as time goes on. And I do want to see how it feels after about 30 to 40 hours. Will I platinum it? Yes, I think I will. Do I recommend it? Oh, yes, if you've played Tsushima, in which case I do thoroughly recommend that you save a few pennies just now and get a PS Plus subscription and play the director's cut that's on there, just because I think that needs to be experienced and well worth checking out first. Even though this sequel is taking more of an anthology approach, it's set centuries after it, I still think, why just go for one when you can have two? And we're talking about cost of gaming and stuff like that constantly. Why sell yourself short? I suppose you can get both. But it's a fantastic experience so far, and one I'm looking forward to continuing and coming back with a full score. But yeah, that's my absolute brain dump on Ghost of Tsushima. Now, Scott, I'm going to get your thoughts in a moment, but just after a little quick fine tuning on the microphone. So just give us a little second to sort that out. Okay, so I've sorted out those microphones, Scott. Everything was fine. Turns out in the end that the gremlins are just taking the piss. So, yeah, as I was saying, Ghost of Yotei. So I just wanted to get your thoughts on my thoughts, effectively. Does that intrigue you to buy the game? You know, is it something that, have I intrigued you, Scott? I've sold you in a Switch 2. Could this sell you on Ghost of Yotei?
Could you sell me on Ghost of Yotei? I think from what you've said about it, I'm very intrigued on the whole dynamic of, was it Atsu? And and kind of how she deals with it all. I'm very interested in her as a character, because when you play through, I played through the DLC for Ghost of Tsushima this year, and Jin is, I'm sorry, but he's a boring fuck. Like,
yeah, it's stoic.
Aye, yeah. Stoic is just a fancy word for a boring arsehole, but it's just like,
you said that, but stoic nothing.
it gets to a point where it's like, have a bit of personality. Do you know what I mean? That's when that game's good, is when he starts to get, more emotional and stuff. But
yeah,
I've seen loads of GIFs and loads of gameplay snippets and videos on Blue Sky and everywhere, that the movement and like the chain assassinations that you would have in Ghost of Tsushima are back here in Yotei, but they just look a lot more visceral and like fluid. Where I am interested in it, though, you're talking about open world game design and how it's more Red Dead Redemption 2 than Assassin's Creed, and that has got me almost hook, line, and sinker. I'm like, oh no. It's the time investment for me. That's all it is. It's just another game on top of a pile of games that I don't have time to play. But it's one that it'll potentially be a game for Christmas. To be honest with you, it'll probably be one of those things that I will pick up around Christmas and be excited to play. But I like the fact that you've said to people, like, if you're thinking about it, play Tsushima first, because it's there on PlayStation Plus. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
play the director's cut, because it's worth doing. Like,
absolutely. And I do absolutely stand by it, because, I've got this game. I've not went out and spent 70 quid this week. I was lucky. I got given some PlayStation vouchers by my lovely wife for my birthday, and I went months ago when that happened. When I turned 21 again, I went and pre-ordered it on the PlayStation Store. So I was like, excellent. In fact, I did one better. It was just cash, the most unromantic thing ever. But I'm like, what do you want? And I'm like, you know what I want? I want games. So I'm like, okay, just giving us some cash. I was like, right, okay. I then went on the shop too.
Yep.
Got the vouchers for a higher value for less money. The usual, all those wee hacks we talk about for the past year and a half or whatever. So yeah, and I don't want to be creating a FOMO pressure. Not that I'd expect anybody to be listening to me and going, man, that sounds good, I need to go buy it. But if you want that type of experience, there's one there, and you can get it for a few pennies less. And if you've already played it, or if you just fancied the new shiny, then go for it. It's but there's options. I think that's one thing I'm really conscious to lean into, especially as it feels like the theme of this year has just been us talking about cost of gaming. But yeah, there is options out there, and Tsushima Director's Cut is still an amazing experience on PS5, and Yotei is a continuation of that. So when I say it's the best looking game, it's not like it's like the jump from God of War 2018 to Ragnarok, which is both incredible looking games, and you can appreciate the jump, but it's not night and day.
Yeah.
It's there, but it's
it's definitely there. And what about we both have these Pro consoles here. What about on the PlayStation 5 Pro? Does it make it worth it?
I mean, it pops on it. I can't lie. Like, it looks good. I was playing it on. I did the usual, the toggle and all that. There is a PS5 Pro performance mode, which will give you ray tracing and 60 frames per second, which is like, this is exactly why I purchased that console. I didn't want to choose, whereas other ones between quality ray tracing and performance, this gives you the best of all worlds, and it looks fantastic. But to be honest with you, the game looked fantastic in any mode.
Anyway, yeah.
But for me, the most important thing is the 60 frames. Like, if it didn't have that, and at first I was like, okay, it doesn't make it clear. I really just wish it would just have like a little checkbox, like 60 frames per second, ray tracing and all that. It's like, cool, give me it all. But yeah, has it made the PS5 Pro worth it? Aye, that's a bigger discussion for another day, but it's definitely something that I appreciate. You know, I do appreciate and feel very fortunate to be experiencing that as well. But hey ho, you know, we're living in an age when, you know, you've got a rogue ally that will cost you more than that thing, so it doesn't really sting as hard.
That's true, actually, yeah.
It's metal.
Klarna that bitch, you know.
Get it, Klarna, die. We do not endorse. Need to continue that.
That has been probably my favourite quote of this podcast. Like, in the 7 million episodes that we've made, Klarna that bitch is going to live on forever now, Liam. It's fucking hilarious.
I'm glad to get on the board. Feels good. Speaking of which, I've got something I need to come back to for last week as well, but I suppose I should wrap up the Yotei thing. So, I think this is one you will definitely enjoy, Scott. I think it's one our listeners will enjoy, and I think it's a game that wants you to take its time with it. It's going to be clear that this will be like Tsushima. It'll take anywhere from 50 to top 60 hours to platinum. It's the PlayStation Platinum. PlayStation exclusive Platinums are always a joy. You just have to do what's in front of you. It's not sweaty. You can also do it in any difficulty, which is great as well for people like ourselves that may be short on time one week to the next. So yeah, I look forward to just kind of reporting back and just kind of telling you if it does, you know, does my feelings on the combat change? Does the story get any better or worse? And I'll ultimately want to answer the question, and I'll wait until I'm finishing it. What did I prefer between that and Assassin's Creed Shadows? And I'll give my honest take. I will give my honest take. Right now, though, the first blow is going to Ghost of Yotei, because I think the world is just way more interesting, and that was the biggest critique I had on Shadows, and that in itself encourages you to play. But more on that in the weeks ahead. But yeah, I do have a correction from last week, because I realised I ballsed it up because I didn't understand the sloppy messaging on the Xbox Game Pass stuff. So
who did?
Just for clarity's sake, dear listeners, if you're wanting Call of Duty, you need to have Ultimate. That's basically it. It's not on standard. What it was is that the day one first party games will eventually come to standard or premium tier, whatever they call it. With the exception of Call of Duty, I'd misread that as like excluding Call of Duty, that'll be on it, but that's not the case. So if you want COD, it's Ultimate. You've got to pay the pennies. In which case, I just want to touch on that to follow on from last week, Scott. I think I will keep my Ultimate subscription just for another few weeks, maybe just so I can get out of Worlds 2 under my belt, because I'm looking forward to playing it and I don't want to spend the full shebang. So that's kind of my mission. Can I beat Yotei and then move on to Outer Worlds 2? That's what I want to do. And I kind of do it in a way that I get to then cancel this or downgrade the subscription, because I'll have Call of Duty at the same time in the month after. So I'm like, if anything, this next couple of months, I'll get my money's worth out of it. So I'm going to take the approach of flexing up and flexing down, cancelling and restarting, so that they're not going to get the sleeper months out of me anymore. That's basically it. So I will have a purpose behind it, because I'm like that. You know what? I get a month worth of Game Pass. It's still cheaper than me buying the game that I want to play, that I would have otherwise have spent 70 quid on. So
I know.
But I'm just not going to do the dead months.
I get the option for that. I just begrudge it now. Like having cancelled it on the 1st of October, you know, smug arsehole Scott over here like, hey, get it up, yous, man, fuck yous. Having cancelled it already.
I'm going to pull you right back in, man. I'm going to pull you right back in.
I know. You almost did. I was in the middle of downloading. I was in the middle of trying to download COD beta, and I was like, why is this not working? And then fucking Ultimate, I was like, shove it up your ass. Like, that right to fuck.
I'm going to have to, Scott.
Nonsense.
Luckily, I did manage to get some time in with that as well for the past week.
You're a disgrace. I
have been, not much, just a couple of games on the Saturday morning with it. And yeah, it's more Call of Duty. I need more time. So this weekend I am going to be putting that on the radar for us. The open beta takes place this weekend. So at time of listening, listeners, if you're interested in Black Ops 7, it's there. And I also think you'll have Battlefield 6 out as well. So
it is actually, yeah.
That's out on Friday also. So yeah, shooter season is upon us. So,
I think
pick your poison and enjoy.
It's a pretty good deal for Battlefield on the game collection.
There you go check it out. They've also got cracking deals. There was actually a good one for Ghost of Yotei on there as well. I seen a good deal for another game that I've been playing this week that I need to share with you. Been busy, been a busy bee. Super Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. 70 quid if you buy it digitally, but it's $49.95 on the game collection if you wanted to grab that physical. It's probably worthwhile because they will go out of print. So I have been tempted, even though I've bought Super Mario Galaxy 2 digitally. I'm like, that'd be good just to have there and then punt it. I'm always thinking like that, but I'm not going to. But been playing that with the boy this week, and what a delight, Scott. What an absolute delight of a game. I've been so excited for this, as I mentioned to you in last week's episode, but it was such a special moment just seeing how happy he was just getting to play this and watching him beat the end of stage bosses. And it was really great because he's kind of going through this boss avoidance phase I'd mentioned. Like he does get in his own head about it. Like, I don't want to do that because the bosses are. I'm like, well, that's part of the game, dude. Like, we just got to go through it. It can be frustrating because you can sometimes get so hesitant to the point of tears. It's very bizarre. But
give him Dark Souls.
I know, that's what I felt like doing. So here we go, check on that, see how you get on. But no, it's been amazing to play. What we've been doing is just kind of co-piloting it as well, because it does have a co-op function where one of you can basically just take charge of one of the Lumas and catch up all the star bits and things like that as well. Looks great on the Switch too. I just feel so happy it's finally available. This is one I've been wanting for ages, Scott. My favourite 3D Mario game by a country mile. The motion control solution, similar to the port they did with the 3D All-Stars version, does feel a tad awkward. I do recommend playing it undocked, just because in handheld it did hurt the wrists a wee bit. It's designed, I think, for you still to kind of sit down and play it, either with your Joy-Cons or with the Pro Controller, and you're just basically spamming the R button all the time just to recenter the motion controls, but you get into a flow quite quickly. But the co-op mode's also really ideal if you just want to have a bit more of an engaged co-op or co-pilot session with the wee ones, or if you're just fancy just playing this, picking up yourself for old time's sake. It's well worth it, man. Well worth it. That's never going to go down in price, and I don't know if they're going to do that whole thing where they just take it out of, take out the shop, like the 3D All-Stars. So if you're interested, this might be one that you might have to make a decision quickly on, because Nintendo is going to Nintendo. But if you're a fan of the Mario Galaxy games, yeah, it's a no-brainer, man. But absolutely delightful experience this week.
It's been on the list. My wee one had our parents' night yesterday, and she got a really good report. So I was like, if you have a good report, we'll have a look at buying you something. And since then, she's been like, can we buy that Mario game you showed me?
Gonna have to now, mate.
I'm never gonna have to. So I'll maybe spur out for the one on the game collection so we can get it physically, so I can get both. I'm just raging that they didn't give Super Mario Sunshine the same treatment. Putting that game in the corner where it doesn't deserve to be, Liam.
Putting that muck on there again. You get the 3D All-Stars. It's definitely the dark mark on it. It's just not good going back to it, man. But the good thing is, though, the kids, it's a great time because the Super Mario Galaxy movie's out in like 6 months and less, actually. So yeah, it's a great time for it, man. And they'll be pure buzzing.
That's the thing with it. I've shown her Donkey Kong Bonanza, and watching her trying to like figure it out, it was almost like overwhelming. Like,
yeah.
So I feel like with Super Mario Galaxy, she'd be able to kind of play that a lot easier. Like, she'd maybe understand it a bit more. So,
well, I work for Big Nintendo, Scott. I've got my commission, and here's the next bit of commission, just purely for yourself. It is to consider that DK Island DLC, because it's that mode. This is what pissed me off about it. That mode itself is perfect for younger people because you're just smashing stuff. But here's the thing: it's gated behind you beating the game, and also
Good.
the £16 up front. So yeah, if you ever get that far, which you will, it's worth investing just
Aye.
purely for the wee one, because I find that the wee man, he plays it and he's finally got on board with that mode and he loves it, man. Like just smashing stuff, and it's
Yeah.
so chill. Once you get that, that's something I think that in time, the both of you, I can see you then start to see the magic of it, and the ice cream analogy will come to mind instantly. You'll get it, man. You'll
I'll
get it.
understand it. It's I just want to be there in Game of the Year conversations. It felt wrong.
Mhm.
I was listening to like people talking about how they were going to set up for Game of the Year this year, and it's like, how do you do it for games that neither one of us have played? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, and having
Yeah.
a console that nobody has played. So technically, I bought this Switch for you, Liam. Like this Switch is for you, not for me.
Man after my own heart. This is what he does. That's what he does. He's a big honey dripper. No, I'm delighted for you, man, and it's exciting. You know, new console, new games, all that stuff to play. I'm really, really excited to hear how you get on in the weeks ahead. But what else? You've got a lot of new games there, Scott. You mentioned Final Fantasy Tactics. There's a few
Yes.
things. What else have you been playing?
Right. The log has grown, Liam, substantially. So there's games that I've played. So I've played Hades. I played Donkey Kong Bonanza for half an hour, if that. I've played Final Fantasy Tactics for maybe about 15 minutes. Breath of the Wild, I've played it for 3 seconds just to see how it looked. And then I went on the PlayStation Store has a big sale on now. And there's been a game that I've been eyeing up for ages, Liam. For ages. This is just the growth of the log coming now. And it's been 20 quid for so long, and I've been like, I'm not buying it at 20 quid. If it hits under 15, I'm jumping on that straight away.
Yeah.
And that game is The Outer Wilds.
Oh, right. Have you ever played it before?
Never played it. I've heard so many people talk about it, and I think I'm now there. So
Okay.
it's a game that I bought it today, and I'm like, I'll get into that. I'll play that this year because I'm really keen on doing it. But the main game that I've played this week, and I don't think it'll come to anyone's surprise, is that I finished Silent Hill F this week.
Nice.
I finished my first playthrough and my second playthrough in the space of about 24 hours.
Nice.
Purely just because the second playthrough I just fucking bombed it through it. The first playthrough was when I ended, I was like, remember the crusty meme where it's like, what the hell was that at the end? It's like it was like that. Like, I played it and I was like, what the what is this? Like, and then I played the second. So the first ending, I think, is technically classified as the bad one in your first playthrough, and everyone gets that. And
Right.
then subsequent playthroughs of the games, things change. So it's like some of the cutscenes will change, some of the moments that you've seen will change, and like different things happen as the game goes on. It's incredible. Like the whole game changes basically as you play it.
That's
And
cool.
depending on certain decisions that you make as you go through, your ending will change with that as well. So I managed to get, the probably the worst probably the worst ending for it. And then I was like, there's maybe another 3-4 playthroughs in this before I get all the endings. So I was like, I just can't commit to that. Like, I can't be playing this game for another, three at least 6 hour playthroughs at a time. I just can't do that. So I was just like, I'll just go on YouTube and watch the rest of them. I was glad that I did, because it was like,
Sometimes you have to.
yeah, I was just like, I've seen everything that I want to see, but that game is incredible. Like,
Yeah.
I think I'm still a bit miffed on the combat and stuff like that. I think it just feels unnecessary, and it feels less. The game feels less Silent Hilly than anything I've played before.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of it, you're just running through combat. You're just like, fuck this, I can't be asked. Like running away from monsters, which is fine, but you just feel it feels too. You feel too perfect in terms of the combat situations that you're in. Like you have all these weapons at your disposal, and you're basically untouchable at a point. And I was just like, I just can't be asked for that anymore. But that aside, the as I say, the main thing in this is the atmosphere, the setting, and these characters together are just incredible. Like
Mm.
the the interrelationships between them all. And last week I was talking about, this gang of friends together and how they love and fucking hate each other, and like how that manifests itself into these monsters that you find in Silent Hill, or in Japan. Can't even remember the name is. Like, no, that may be a spoiler. In terms of what I'm trying to say, so you find that Japan is very. It's really interesting the way it all manifests itself and how that all comes together. And it ends up becoming less of a story about these relationships, and it becomes more the story about Hanako and about the traditional, like the sort of supposed traditional way that women are viewed, in terms of,
Mhm.
that they should be viewed as, they have to get married, you have to have kids, you have to live your life like this, and that is it. Like,
Mm.
and how they rebel against that, and that is the whole point of this. It's just incredible, and I loved every single second that I played of it. Like, the second playthrough was better than the first playthrough. I'm sure the third one would be better than the second, and so on. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
Because you're just uncovering layers and layers and layers of stuff. It is Shrek the game, Liam. It is. It's
You've
just
done it.
layers of fucking shit happening all the time, and it's brilliant. As I say, I don't know if I said it last week, but I've seen quite possibly one of the most gruesome things that I think I've ever seen in games, and it happened 3 times in a row, like one after another. I was like, how the hell are we doing this here?
Yeah. Yeah.
And in the year of our Lord 2025, the noises that I heard coming out of my TV, Liam, I was like,
Oh man.
good lord, disgusting. But it's a brilliant game, genuinely
Mm.
brilliant game. Um, I think that combat fails it a little bit, and I think that if you were to finish it with that first ending and leave it at that, it
Mhm.
would leave a sour taste in the mouth. Do you know what I mean? If you went
Yeah.
and bought
Yeah.
Silent Hill F and just played the first ending, you'd be like, "Oh no, that's not really that good." It, it's you have to go through the other playthroughs of it.
Mhm.
Someone on my Instagram today that I've not spoken to in years put up a post saying they've just finished the first playthrough, and they were like, "What's going on here?" And I messaged them straight afterwards, said, play it another time, do it again, and you'll understand it more. And it does a really cool thing. I don't know if this is the only game that I've seen it in, Liam, but like with cutscenes, if it's a new cutscene, so you play through the game, and say, for example, it's the beginning cutscene of Metal Gear Solid 2, where he's on
Mhm.
the bridge, the Hudson River, 2 years ago, and he runs and jumps on the bridge. You play that the first time, and it's the exact same way that you've seen it the first time.
Yeah.
Whereas the second time, he stops and has a conversation with Olga Gerlukovich before, right?
Mm.
Something
Mm.
completely new. Now, if you were to skip that the second time, you wouldn't have known anything. But in Silent Hill F, it tells you if you're skipping something that you've not seen before. So
Mm.
it's like the new scenes available. Like, don't skip. So it's then like, not to skip that scene. And then it's just, I've never seen that before in a game. So it was just like, that's class. Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
especially if you're just trying to burn through it to get to the end of it, you're not missing anything. So more of that, please, in video games, because not missing content is my biggest gripe, because I skip everything, man. I've just got no time for sitting reading shit or watching shit. So if I can skip it, then I'll skip it. But um, aye, a brilliant game, and one that I think will linger in the memory for quite a long time.
Excellent. Now, so to close, what score would you give it,
I knew you
Scott?
were going to ask me this. I'm
I know.
trying to think of
Always
the
do.
numbers in my head to think about it. I think that the points that it scores the points that it scores itself down are combat, and it's a game masquerading as a Silent Hill game in a way.
Mhm. Mhm.
So for me, it's probably an 8.
Okay, that's a
But
really good score.
it's a
Mm.
great score. It's just, I think that it loses some of the charm that you have in regular Silent Hill games. And this could have been a horror game from anywhere. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
um, I wouldn't even say it's much of a horror game. As I say, you could play this game. You could play it, Liam, and I don't think you'd have any problems with it.
Coward friendly?
Genuinely coward friendly. It's more visceral horror rather than like scary horror.
Nah, like gory.
It's like Halloween horror. Like you see scary things, it's not scaring you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, that's good then. So that's an 8, great for Silent Hill F. Well
Indeed.
done, I suppose. They're on a roll. We do, before we get into the main topic, Scott, we've actually got some listener mail this week. I think we should move on to that one. This one comes from a lovely listener, Adam Innes, as well. So he's someone, and I have to commend him here. He says, someone who's not a parent, but he loves hearing other people's opinions on gaming. And I say, Adam, you get it. You're one of the good ones, because this show is, of course, for everybody, you know, particularly just fellow grown-ups, not just juggling anything at all. Safe space. We're taking our time here, just chatting pish about games. But he writes in to ask, he was wondering if we could talk about the Steam Deck. So he currently has a Switch, a retro handheld, and a PlayStation 5. He plays a lot of first-party Nintendo games and a few AAA titles per year. And he asked, recently I've been thinking about getting rid of my Switch and going for a Steam Deck instead, as it seems to have good emulation options and the ability to make it easier to clear my backlog is extremely appealing to me. So Scott, obviously this is now there's a fork in the road here, right? We could either commit to the bit with the boo PC gaming part, or we could actually just talk honestly here, because Adam has taken the time to write into us. Now, I'm going to take that pass, Scott. You make your own choice, right? You make your own choice. But what would you say to Adam in this case?
A Steam Deck is something that I have pondered on for quite a long time for similar reasons. And if we're being honest here, the benefits of it for us are, you know, couch gaming with our partners, you know, sitting watching Keek in the telly, or even just, you know, sneaking in time here and there when you can, and seeing people being able to, you know, emulate games, even emulate like trophies and stuff like that as well, like retro achievements and stuff on them, is incredibly appealing to me. It's a tough one because I don't have a Steam Deck, so I can't even be like, you know, these are all the things that you can do on it, because I just don't know. You've obviously got the benefit of it, you know, being a Steam Deck, so, you know, you can play games on Steam if you want to stay up to date on it, on, you know, current gaming, and price wise, I think it's pretty appealing as well. I think that it's you know, a more appealing choice than most of the other handheld PC things. Is that right?
Yeah, handheld PCs, yeah.
But if emulation is your way to go, then if you don't have an actual gaming PC or laptop or something that you can emulate these games on, it feels like a no-brainer to me.
Yeah, I think, you know, the first question I have for Adam, is it a original Nintendo Switch or a Nintendo Switch 2? Because that kind of skews my answer one way or another. Because if it's just an original Switch, I think, then, yeah, you know, it was particularly mentioned as a retro handheld. So this is somebody, I'm imagining, Adam, that you are a man of culture. You enjoy the finer old games out there, as we all do. So yeah, allegedly, you could emulate to your heart's content on a Steam Deck. I'm led to believe. I'm same as you, Scott. You know, this is one we've had in conversations, you know, off podcast, you know, and looking at the Steam Deck. I actually got my hands on one for the first time a couple of weeks ago. One of my friends had brought it into work, and it wasn't how I thought it would feel in the hands, which was cool. And I've been enjoying just kind of hearing about his journey with it, and he's just been deep diving into Steam sales and really been catching up on a lot of games that, you know, I think, you know, Shadow of War came up, some of the Batman Arkham games, a couple of ones he played before, but it's like they were so cheap, I'm just going to pick up. So I think in terms of backlog, if that doesn't put you off, you're probably going to fill it up with a lot more of those classic games that could be older, plus your emulation, but you're not going to run out of things to play. For me, though, he did mention a few AAA titles per year, so it feels like you're too fussed about kind of running out and buying like Ghost of Yotei or something like that. The Steam Deck's an option. However, There's also other options, because I have heard only good things about like the Steam Deck OLED. If you're going to get it, apparently the screen's gorgeous.
Yeah.
If you're not too fussed about the display, there are other handheld PC options out there with the aforementioned ROG Ally. Do have to get the ROG Ally X, for example, and that might give you best of both worlds if you were someone that was interested in the console offerings with like PC Game Pass and stuff like that as well. So I think, long story short, is we'd always say, do what's best for you. There's no right or wrong answer here. In fact, the wrong answer is if you kind of just feel like you're forced into buying something because you feel like you should, don't do that. It's really, if you've got something, a burning for it, yearning for it inside you, then yeah, treat yourself, It's, you work hard, you deserve to get nice things for yourself, and then go for it. And look what Scott did.
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo Switch 2 being prime example. But I would say, if you have the Switch 2 and you want to swap that for the Steam Deck, granted the options are a lot more limited. You just have to weigh it up, because you're going to get a good handheld experience on both. But if emulation is the most important thing, then yeah, Steam Deck just seems like a no-brainer. Plus, I think we did the math. You could pretty much get a Steam Deck for about the price of a whole year worth of Game Pass as well. So, yeah, clamor that bitch. So I hope that helps, Adam. But please,
I'd love to speak to someone who owns a Steam Deck, because it's just not something that I don't have many opportunities to, have that conversation with people. So I'd love to get someone on and like tell me the good and bad things about owning a Steam Deck.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, listen, we've had those conversations. I know I'd buy it, and I just wouldn't be able to find the time on top of everything else with the PlayStation, Xbox, and the Nintendo. That's why the ROG Ally was the most appealing to me, because I could stay within that ecosystem and play some Steam. But eventually I would just be playing Marvel Snap on it anyway, so it gets me in the end. But yeah, I'm with you. Anybody out there has some advice for Adam, leave it in the comments below if you have a Steam Deck. And as well, Adam, let us know what your final decision is. Write into us again, leave a comment, however you want to do it, man. Really intrigued to see how this one goes for you, and I hope it goes well. But yeah, please write in again in the future. It's awesome to hear from you, and thank you for doing that. So I think it's time now, Scott, for us to move on to our main topic. And before we do, now as well, if you do enjoy the show and you want to support us, you can, and it won't cost you a penny. So my voice is going at the wrong time here, but it won't cost you a penny.
You suddenly just dropped down an octave there.
I did go down an octave. If you want to make sure that I don't drop down an octave, you can, of course, join our free Patreon community. So visit patreon.com/pixelparents for every show, chats, and bonus shows, including side quests with Scott, free all the time. And don't forget to subscribe to us on YouTube. So just visit youtube.com/@pixelparentspodcast. Now, I can give my voice a wee rest after that. Decibels are dropping all over the joint, which is telling you that it's getting late. But Scott, this week's main topic we've decided to go with, is it time for us to embrace, or for us all to embrace, slow gaming? As we've mentioned, right, the recurring theme for this year, gaming's just getting more expensive, the consoles skyrocketing, games themselves, they're going up, subscriptions now next in line. So all that in mind, right, painted that cheerful picture. Keeping up with the latest releases is almost a mad effort. We talked about it earlier in the show with Ghost of Yotei, my strategy for getting that day one. And it's a pricey one. We're the grown-ups here, right? We're grown-up gamers. All of us, we need to ask ourselves that question. Is the antidote to this just very simple? Is now the time that we as a collective embrace more of a slow gaming movement? Scott, I want to kick off with a difficult question, as I always do.
Oh, good.
To you, what is slow gaming?
I mean, how I don't play games anyway. Like the opposite of how I play games anyway. I think slow gaming covers a lot of things. It's, by definition, by name itself, it's enjoying games slowly. I could be really facetious and just be like, well, you just play games pure slow, but it's more than that. It's not being forced into jumping in every single time something new comes out. It's embracing these games. It's taking your time and just enjoying the moment with them. You know, playing Ghost of Yotei the way you're playing it, not coming here for review and thinking you have to pump 40 million hours into it the first week you get it, because
Or
what's the
two.
point in that? You've what is it? You've waited years for this game to come out. Like, what's the point in playing it in like a week,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
2 days? You know what I mean? It's embarrassing, but it's just, I think it's just taking that time to enjoy a game rather than feeling forced into, quickly completing it.
Yeah. It's basically you're playing. You've got one eye on one game and you've got your other on the next one that's coming out. And
Yeah,
that's probably the fast gaming movement, the keeping up with the Joneses, the
yeah,
FOMO, all the stuff that we are all susceptible to as gamers. And, slow gaming for me, I liken a lot to the slow cooking movement. You know what I mean? You had the kind of birth of the fast food and all that. Everything was go, go, go. And then there was a slow cooking type of movement that was born, effectively just embracing the more taking your time, developing them flavours. And for here, gaming is the same thing. I think it seems obvious, but the FOMO is going to get you.
yeah,
And it's, for us, we talk about the year of the log, and I think that's us kind of embarking on that kind of mantra here, particularly when you juggle other things into the mix, like all those grown-up responsibilities, keeping the roof over your head, keeping yourself fed, keeping yourself clean, whatever it is. It's just all that stuff. And then, if you are a parent, then it's like you've got the wee ones to think about. You've got all that to kind of juggle. And the last thing you do on top of that is feeling some kind of benign pressure you're putting on yourself of, I need to finish this game before this next one comes out.
mm-hmm.
And for me, I'm fully thinking that just now, and it's got me thinking about, like, what's my overall habits like, because I kind of have a fast and slow half to the year, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the fast part of it now, and I'm thinking, you know what, finding myself a wee bit overwhelmed by it, but Ghost of Yotei has been it's came at the right time, because it's begging you to just take your time. And it's true, it's like 5 years waiting for that game to come out. I don't want to get through it in 5 days, you know what I mean? And nor should I, and if you do, good on you, you know what I mean? Sometimes you just hit a flow with your game, and that's the right thing to do, and I think you embrace that in the moment. For us, though, I'm thinking, is this just kind of, be talking about the log taking its final form? Should we just be more backlog minded? With all these stuff we've been talking about, increasing costs and all that, and it's not saying we're not pleading poverty. It's more just as a response, as a collective. We're doing ourselves no favour by continuing to just be there day one. And I'm not saying, I'm not going to be one of those podcasters like, oh, don't pre-order games and all the rest of it. Do what you want with your money, right? But as a collective, we can't have it both ways. We can't all whinge and balk at the thought of, oh, capitalism bad, prices going up, but then also, here, take my $70. Oh, in fact, there's an extra tenner for a deluxe edition. And doing that time and again, and nothing changes. And it's like, the reason we're moaning at the corporations. It's like, should we take a look at ourselves first as well? Because this is habit, behaviour driven. And this is the grown-up conversation, because as grown-ups, we need to be able to do that. We need to be able to hold the mirror up to ourselves and go, right, how are we contributing to big Nintendo and all the rest of it, putting these prices up? Is slow gaming the antidote to it, Scott?
I love how you asked me. You asked me these burning questions.
Set them up.
I think it depends who you are. For me, it depends who you are, because there are going to be people who want to be there on the zeitgeist. I said this in a side quest with Scott last week, and I don't know if I used it correctly, but people who want to be in that moment and have that conversation about current games every single time they come out. Like, we see them on Blue Sky, these people that are playing games quicker than you can fucking spell the names out. Do you know what I mean? And it's like, how do you juggle this? Like, where are you finding the time in the day to do this? Do you sleep for an hour a night and then just plow back through it? Do you know what I mean? But then you're going to have people who just take their time with games. Like I'm seeing it more and more with people on Blue Sky as well, talking about like they've maybe bought themselves a Steam Deck and they're just going to play through the games that they've got now because they've got so much. I think did I say it last week where I saw a tweet and it's like a person, the average 30-year-old could stop buying games now and they'd have enough games to cover them for the rest of their lives because there's so many games there that they already own, and it's outrageous as a fact that is, and we constantly keep on buying more and more. It's the Homer Simpson and Devil donut moment where you're just being fucking force-fed donuts, and that's what it feels like with games at the moment. It's there's too much going in, like too much in the mouth, not enough coming out the other end. But I think that the antidote probably is just slow gaming and embracing that. But the culture of video games just isn't that way. Like,
No, it's
and
not.
we'll all buy into it. You know, like next year, we're looking at 2026 already. Like Onimusha coming out. We're going to have Grand Theft Auto 6 coming out. We're going to have fucking every other game that has been delayed coming out next year. Do you know what I mean? Like Forza coming out at some point. You're going to have a new Gears of War, probably Halo coming out at some point in 2026. There'll be Intergalactic will hit some point. Do you know what I mean? It's like the games just keep on coming, and it's terrifying.
It is. I mean, there was like data today from Matt Piscatella's Circana, and he's senior director there. Obviously, the man with the plan with the stats there. It's showing that most gamers in the USA they'll only buy 1 or 2 games a year.
Yeah,
Apparently, according to a survey. Also saying there that 18% of those players will get a new game about once every 6 months. About 12% will buy one about once a year. 33%, so a third, is going to be buying a game less often than once a year. So there'll be a combined 63% of players that buy 2 games or fewer every year. There's a big write-up on VGC about it, which breaks down all the stats, so please do go check them out. Give them a click if you're interested in learning more about that. But yeah,
it's just fascinating. It's fascinating, like hearing numbers like that in it. Like
it is, yeah, it is, and it's well worth going to read it. I think Matt Piscatella has been a key name in the space for ages, and you're right. It's about the zeitgeist. It's also understanding the difference between this issue's problem with the hardcore, like ourselves, the sickos that are wanting to keep up with that, and we've all been. Lord knows I've done it, and it's like, I remember one time at my worst. I think it was actually just before I became a dad, and I bought 3 brand new games on the one day, and there's not enough time. It was Mario Odyssey, Wolfenstein 2, and Assassin's Creed Origins. 3 pretty big games, to give or take Wolfenstein. And I was going to have a kid in the next couple of 6 weeks or something like afterwards. So it was a total panic.
Front loading games beforehand.
That was it. I was front loading it, but it was also, I think, part of me just still wanting to kind of have something to post out on Twitter. And it's like, look, I'm still doing this and all the rest. And
there is an image on my Instagram of me on the 16th of November 2020 where I had bought Mortal Kombat 11 Ultimate, Demon's Souls, Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, and Assassin's Creed Valhalla at the same time. Like,
I was console launched, though, wasn't it?
Console launch, but how many games do you bastard need? Like, it's disgusting. True. There's also a picture, I'm trying to find it because I actually was looking for a separate picture and that one came up. But I had bought God of War 2018 and I think it was a Yakuza game. Like, I can't even remember which one it was, but I bought them at the exact same time. It's like fucking outrageous.
I know. And, it's something I think that this whole slow gaming mindset for the hardcore is something I think we do need to probably consider. Or is the answer just no? Do we just chuck the baby out with the bathwater? Do we just say, you know what? Is it okay just to suck it up and just keep on keeping on with the new shiny things. Like, have we been too reactionary as a collective? Like, do you know what? We ain't going to change. We're still going to buy stuff day one. We're going to buy plenty of it. We give us a Homer Simpson in hell, as you said, feeding them donuts to us, man. And it's like, yeah, we'll keep paying the prices. We'll keep doing it. And because the amount of times you see people like being almost sanctimonious on the pre-order culture, and it's like, yeah, I get it, but you telling people that might be looking forward to that for donkeys isn't the answer, because you yourself are going to be, you're creating the FOMO for them. So it's almost like, you know, I used to, there's one thing that I loathe, right? And that's spoiler cast podcasts right after, like, there's about a week or two of a game coming out. And I know you don't have to listen to it. Come back when you finish the game. No, I'm humped at a podcast for a week. That's the way I'm looking at it. You know, it's like, no, what will I listen to in my commute? This is absolutely disgraceful. And that thing, it's like, do them extra, you know, but that in itself creates a backdraft, you know, of this FOMO sensation of kind of like, oh, I'm out the loop now, I'm out the conversation. And if you are hardcore, you're going to be listening to maybe even ourselves, maybe other people also. But, and that leads me to the next point, you know, our content creators within all this, the games media, as I've said before, effectively games media is an extension of games marketing. It always has been, you know, hence why it's a very hype driven cycle. It's, you know, we've studied journalism and that. Yes, there's some examples of actual journalism in there, but it's effectively returning PR beats and, you know, covering these products, these games, and contributing to the hype cycle, preview cycles, everything around it, just to get the consumer excited about what's coming out. Are we the problem?
Sorry to interrupt, Julian. Right, I know you're going to ask a question, but before you ask the big question, I had never noticed that at all.
Really?
Until we started doing this podcast and started receiving emails about games that are coming out and seeing it in real life. It's like, that is exactly what's happening. It's mad.
Yeah.
Like, seeing that relationship between PR and the press and all that is fucking mad.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, the press is the final extension, and that reach journey towards the audience. And the reason it's the reason why it's been effectively obliterated, because they don't have to go through it now. Content creators, YouTube, their own channels. The brands have a more direct means, and it's more socially acceptable for them to communicate with an audience. Hence why you get something like a State of Play. That wouldn't have existed 15 years ago. And it's not because, you know, just purely because YouTube exists. It's because we as an audience are quite happy to take information direct from the horse's mouth. You know, this is like PlayStation talking directly to you, whereas in the past you'd have to get CVG or something like that. You can even go buy an Edge magazine, but it's all dressed, tarted up marketing at the end of the day. You might get a feature and all that, and we might get some that, you know, yes, of course, there's actual opinion and quality discussion in there as well, but at its core, that's the function. And that, what I was asking is, are we the problem as well? You know, content creators have just made that easier for big brands to kind of get that message out. And, you know, do we play a part in the landscape against the slow gaming? You know, creating that FOMO, creating this zeitgeist need to constantly just be consuming the new at the high prices? Or do we have a duty, Scott, within the content creator space to embrace slow gaming for the sake of our audience, you know, to mitigate against that sensation?
At the what's the word? At the risk of you know, alienating an audience here, Liam, I am not going to buy something. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
Like, I'm stupid with money. Bought a fucking Nintendo Switch this week, right? Now, great purchase, by the way. Great purchase. But
10 out of 10.
10 out of 10 purchase. Would buy another one. However, it's I think our fans are wise enough to the fact that they don't have to be on the cutting edge of this conversation. Do you know what I mean? Like, they know what we're like as well. Like, I've played more old games this year than I think I've played new games. I think that's a fair point, and I'd like to go back and look at it, right? But I like throwing out facts that I don't know yet. I'm fairly sure that's true, and I'll calculate it once we come off this, right? But I think that's just the way you go about it. The year of the log is in full swing, and this might become, the 2 years of the log or the decade of the log. Do you know what I mean? I might just become a log channel, the lumberjack of games, and just start fucking
Yeah.
hacking away at the backlog, because there are games that I've probably never even opened.
Yeah, of
And
course. I mean,
it's mad, but this whole slow gaming approach, it's fed to us by these people. Do you know what I mean? Like, by content creators who they want they get paid hype moments. Do you know what I mean? Like, they get paid in video revenue because you go and click on a video that they're playing 2XKO, or they're playing Skate, or they're playing something new because you can't play it yet. Do you know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
and you
yeah,
want to see how that game is, and that gets you more excited on it as well. So they're effectively making their money, and quite rightly they should be. But for us, and we've been pretty open with it. Well, maybe not last year. Last year, I've said this before, and I'll say it again. Completely fucked me. Like, I was
yeah, yeah.
gubbed last year, playing games for 60, 70 odd hours, and just being like, this is fucking brutal. Like, how do people do this day in, day out? Talking about games like Dragon's Dogma 2, which is absolute dog shit, by the way.
Can't let it go.
I can't let it go. I'm going to bring it up every single fucking time I can. But playing games like that just for the sole purpose of being part of that conversation just isn't feasible for us. It's just not. And I think that our fans know that that's the case, and hopefully appreciate that that's the case, because we do.
Yeah.
Like, this whole book club approach to it is nice because we can just come in, talk about the games that we are playing. It's not, if we were a professional organisation, Liam, you'd have finished Ghost of Yotei by now.
Oh yeah,
And you'd be on to you'd be on to the next thing after the next thing. Do you know what I mean? But
yeah, I
just
would have
taking
had it.
Yeah,
3 weeks before release.
exactly.
So it's...
But it's just getting to a point now where that's just mad. Like, it's just mad that the expectations there. But I like the way we do it, and we had this conversation at the beginning of the year where, we're not going to be that face of video games where we want to be talking to people about Ghost of Yotei the minute it comes out. Do you know what I mean? Because we can't. You can't do that,
No.
and that's just the reality of our lives. Even if we went full time with this, Liam, we probably still couldn't do it because you'd have life.
Fucking bankrupt.
You'd have life though if we were hugely successful and this whole thing popped off. You know what I mean? Like,
Me and my flying pigs.
you still wouldn't want to do it just because
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to ruin that enjoyment of the video game. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean,
So
the enjoyment for me in this is the discussion, like you say, is the book club approach, and I do thoroughly enjoy that, and it was good that we had that epiphany on air, I suppose, in regards to what we're trying to do, and I do take that duty seriously to our listeners, which is because I will listen to the big boys as well, a mix of them. I'm not going to name and shame. But there is the odd time you get a review and it's like, oh, I've played this brand new game for about an hour, but I'm going to review it anyway. And this is the other part of it with this glut. And it's a phenomenon just now because of GTA 6. This glut of gaming right now, onslaught of it. Very rarely would you see, but you'd never see somebody at a big outlet take their time like this, because if they do, they don't get the clicks. If they don't get the clicks, they don't get the cash. And so they're bound by that. They've got a very different pressure. Whereas we don't have that, which is good. And we also don't have the access that they do as well, let's face it. So anything we're reviewing, we've bought with our own cash also, or vouchers. So it's, I like to think that we can pride ourselves on that. And the last thing I'd want to do is buy a game. It's like getting an apple, taking a bite and telling you what I felt of the full thing. It's like, I'm going to finish it. I'm going to finish it and tell you exactly end to end the experience before we make any recommendations.
Exactly why I had to finish Dragon's Dogma 2 last year, which, is fucking terrible.
Dragon's
Dragon's Pish 2. I just want to shit on it every single time I think about it now.
As you do. I mean, listen, it's a very interesting time in the gaming space. I think for me, one of the closing thoughts as well is that I do notice, like this past week, it has been, rightfully so, a lot of fingers pointing at Xbox of having a legendary bad week. It just feels like everything's taking a battering around the hobby we love. But I'm also like, there is an element of having your cake and eat it. One side, it's like you're getting a lot of big, prominent games creators out there. It's like, corporate raise prices bad, but also give me $20 a month so that you can get a free episode each month. I'm like, there's, a line there between the two. There's a parallel line between the two and that kind of thing. And I find it funny. I like to look at these ironies and just kind of be like, oh, there's a bit of a similarity there. But at least we can sit here in our shabby ivory tower. And it's like
the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
That's it,
crumbling.
Crumbling away. But listen, to put a pin in it, for me, I do think that is kind of something that we as grown-up gamers already do. Embrace the slow gaming movement. I think it's something that we should probably more proudly discuss and, make that the norm, I would say. Especially within the hardcore circle.
Yeah.
Make that the norm, because the pressure we're kind of putting on each other and the pressure, the general vibe being off with the increased price and all the rest of it because nobody's happy paying it. The answer to it all, let's just take our time.
Yeah.
Let's just take our time. Who cares about reviews on day one? Who cares about playing it day one? I'd rather get your much more slow your much more slow experience of it on day 50 or day 500, whenever it is. So who knows? We might see a big change in habits, but let's face it, we're not going to. We're going to be paying £100 a game when GTA 6 comes out, Scott.
Don't give them the ideas. Like,
they're listening.
I tried not to do it last week with fucking Phil Spencer. I know he's listening to me. No, he constantly messages me telling me he's listening and thanking me for ideas about, strapping controllers to your hands and smacking yourself in the face with them. But I've told them, like,
did you
stop it?
Did you see the rumour flying about that apparently there's Xbox people like working at Microsoft that has his account to kind of push his numbers up a bit on his gamer tag?
I have seen this.
It's like, oh God, it just somewhere Randy Pitchford is like, damn, I have arse PR, but at least I'm not having a week like. But I digress. I think we should move on. No, that was a good discussion, but I'd be keen to get our listeners' views on that as well. What's more important?
I would also be keen to start a book club on the Patreon, Liam, where people come and tell us about the games that they're playing.
I think the idea, and I think if you want to get in on that, then come support us and join for free.
Spend a £5, join the book club. Pay your dues.
Don't listen to this clown that be for hee-haw. Hee-haw. So everything there free, because let's face it, life is expensive enough. You don't need those two clowns taking more cash off you.
Oh, of course.
So book club are coming, Scott. Maybe we could talk more about it on your side quest this week. Leave that with you.
Let's do it.
Whilst you're having a ponder, I do think then it's time we move on to the Pixel Pick Showdown. So it is what it is. Each week we're going to pick a game from our chosen theme and we decide which one deserves to live on the hallowed Pixel Picks list, which is our definitive list of the best games we recommend and pass on to the next generation of gamers. Now, last week's theme was best game within a game, with Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, namely Queen's Blood, becoming the latest addition to that list. Well done. Yeah, it was fantastic, that, might I say. And this week's Showdown, we're going to be debating what best slow burn game we think should feature on the Pixel Picks list. Now, as always, last week's winner goes last, but I can't remember who it was.
You won last week.
Oh,
I gave you the win.
My audio's going here. Sorry, what was that? No, of course. I will go last, so let's get to it, Scott. It's a very interesting one, so I'm intrigued. What's your honourable mention and your pick?
This was an interesting one this week, Liam. Purely because, define slow burn game. It could mean a lot of different things in terms of, narrative slow burn in gameplay, slow burn in, just the way you play the game is just slow. But I couldn't come up with any more examples there, Liam. That's why I completely fudged that there. However, my honourable mention for this week is a game that I actually replayed fairly recently, within the last maybe year and a half, and it's purely just because I wanted to experience one moment in it, just to make me laugh the whole time.
Okay.
My honourable mention for this week is PS3 classic Heavy Rain.
Oh, right. Okay. Okay.
Now, talking about slow burns,
So this is the lowest.
the slowest of burns, trying to figure out who the origami killer is, and having that moment in the shopping centre shouting Jason, it lives on in my memory, and it's still hilarious. Like, shouting that fucking name the whole time is just so funny. And it's so stupid. Like, it's so stupid. I want everyone, after you finish listening to this show, go and watch the video game Donkey episode playing Heavy Rain, because it's maybe a video I watch once a fortnight just because it's so funny how daft this fucking game is. But it was brilliant at the time, like a total detective epic, and it even carried moments like Saw, which was pretty cool. But my choice for this week, and it'll come as no surprise to anyone that I've gone for a game that lives in my heart, Liam. Lives in
Uh-huh.
my heart. Probably one of my favourite games of all time. There was a big bang upstairs. My wife's having a shower.
Just
I'm
wondered who it
fairly
was.
certain she maybe felt falling in the shower.
Jesus.
But I'll tell you my game first, then I'll go and check she's okay. She is fine, by the way. I'm only kidding on. I'm kidding. My slow burn game for this week is, a game that I love from a video game creator that I love. My choice for this week, Liam, is Death Stranding from Hideo Kojima.
Mm. Okay. Okay.
A game that, slow burn in spades in terms of the way that you play it is a slow burn. You're uncovering things about the story, and it's slowly making itself known to you. Its pacing is deliberately slow in terms of when you start that game, you are rooted to the ground, boots on the floor, and you're just making your way across to the next delivery bit, getting there, and then you uncover different parts, and it is ridiculously slow. Then you start, figuring out the world, figuring out traversal and stuff, and it starts to speed up with the
Okay.
gameplay loop and stuff as well. Much of your time spent on walking, trying to plan routes, so it is slowing you down. It's not go from bit to bit to bit, and that was my problem with two. To be honest with you, was that you're constantly just on the move, whereas with the first one, you're planning the routes, you're making sure you've got all your equipment. But slow burn for me is where it really comes into its own, and how I would probably define a slow burn game is in the narrative. It's less about the gameplay, less about the actual pacing of the actual game itself, and more about the narrative in terms of how you uncover
Mhm.
it. Chapter 1 and 2 in Death Stranding, who can tell you anything that happens in those moments? I can't, and I've played it 3 times. When you start moving into chapters 3 to 5, when you start to meet Cliff, when you start to go and find out what's happening in the story and stuff as well, that's when everything starts to roll. The snowball starts to pick up pace, starts to pick up more snow, and by the end, you have that moment with Tommy Earl Jones where he delivers probably one of the Tommy Earl Jenkins, sorry,
Jenkins, yeah.
Tommy Earl Jones. I'm thinking about the guy from fucking Batman. What's his name again?
Tommy Lee Jones.
Tommy Lee Jones. I was so close.
Jesus Christ.
Thinking about Tommy Earl Jenkins in that moment at the end where he delivers that incredible performance, and it ties it all together in this huge bow. And then you meet on the beach
Chip
like
Hazard.
Mario and Princess Beach, and it's just all perfectly. It
Yeah.
culminates in one of the most ridiculous ending sections of a video game that I think I've ever played, and that is why Death Stranding is my favourite slow burn game.
Good choice. Good choice. Well, I'll keep this brief. I've got an honourable mention here because it is I like these weeks when you've kind of got to interpret what we mean by, and really the right answer is however we interpret it and what's the best explanation. And I'm with you, it's just something that can kind of unravel, but gameplay is part of it as well as a narrative that is a slow burn. Has to have all these things. It basically has to have something that you feel's unfolding, or something you're doing. It could be repetitious. You mentioned Death Stranding, but it could, whatever it is, you're there for a while and you're going to still be quite happy to just chip away at it. So my honourable mention this week actually goes to Destiny 2, of all things, because I feel like it is a bit of a slow burn. It's a commitment. It's something you're going to be playing for a long time with your friends. You're logging in, doing the strike missions. You're getting little tidbits of lore and narrative fed to you as well, and you're slowly building up your character. Just try to get that one wee extra bit of gear just to make your overall build better, get your score up, and then eventually take on the raid at the end of it. And if you're still engaged with it, that's basically what they've been doing for years, almost a decade at this point, which is impressive when you think about it. But yeah, I put Destiny 2 in there, almost made it as my pick, but I thought, I don't think I could swing it. So my pick this week is actually a game that I do believe is better than your pick, and that could only be one game, Scott, and that's Death Stranding 2. Because genuinely picked Death Stranding 2 because it is, as we both said here, a better game than Death Stranding, and it is also a slow burn because it's one that you will spend, as you know, you can spend anywhere up to about 70, 100 odd hours with it. You're in for a long ride with that one as well. It doesn't go by quickly. It just does a better job of delivering and voicing itself. Still weird as all hell, and it just gives you more options because you don't have to take advantage of the myriad of options in there. There's monorails and stuff like that. Don't have to use them. I know I didn't because I couldn't be arsed building most of them. So I was like,
even.
I know, but I wanted to take in the scenery. I wanted to just take my time, put some music on, chill. It's the whole experience, but I liked the fact that you could, earn the fast route, because that's the thing. It doesn't make the game any quicker in the long run because you're still going to spend a lot of time getting the materials to build said monorail network to make sure that the roads are built like you did in the first one. You have to earn it. So if you want the quick route, you have to be in for the long haul. That's the thing, which I like about the game. And that's something that the first one did as well. It's just that everything the second one just came together a little bit more tightly. They just perfected it. That wee bit of zing and the sauce that was missing from the first one. So the cook was just slightly better, slightly more refined.
I agree with you that it is a better game. I think it's a faster burn though, Liam. I think if we were to compare the burns, Death Stranding 1 would be a slower burn.
Yes, but we can't confuse burn with boring, Scott.
Oh no.
And,
oh God.
There's a slow burn and there's a stop to a crawl.
You literally do that in Death Stranding 2.
That's actually true. There is a slow burn in Death Stranding 2.
I mean, maybe that is it. Maybe that's the answer, actually. Unintentionally, actually just answered the question, literally, because there is a slow burn in Death Stranding 2. I mean, at the end of the day, it's a Death Stranding game on the Pixel list, so I'm not going to be angry about it. But I do still think Death Stranding, the first one, is a slower burn. But I'll concede again because I am the bigger man here, Liam.
Okay, I would appreciate it then. So yeah, we'll continue. I'm just going to take it and run. Death Stranding 2, and I do say that because I do feel that like Death Stranding 2 just got something a bit better. If I was going to recommend one of the two, it would be the second one. And that would be odd to start there, but you could recap. And I think you'd be like, all right. You'd just be like that. Oh, the first one's weird, cool. And this is more weird.
The first one's so obtuse, and I think that's what I enjoy about it, is that it impedes you all the time, constantly. That I have a wee soft spot in my heart for it, but whatever, man. Whatever.
Well, your audio did go a bit Dalek-y there, I have to admit, Scott, but it might be different in the final recording. So if it is,
I hope it's not.
If it is, then apologies to our listeners because you'll be getting cut. If not, no harm, no foul. But that does bring us to the end of this week's podcast. So, of course, as we always say, thank you once again for joining us. And remember to support small independent games media out there. So if you like what you hear, you enjoyed the podcast, please share on social media. Tell your friends about us, leave us a wee 5-star review. It all helps us out, makes a massive difference. And please remember, subscribe to us on YouTube and also join our free Patreon community at patreon.com/pixelparents to support the show, where you'll get maybe a new wee video game book club, some other wee things up our sleeve. You'll also get side quests with Scott and some other wee juicy tidbits, all for nada, which is great. Good deal if you ask me at the end of the day. We're the best deal in gaming, taking it from Xbox, but it is test time, Scott. So where can people find you online if they wish to engage with you?
I am available at lamaman.bsky.social, where after this podcast goes out, I will be sharing with the world my thoughts on the Nintendo Switch 2. So come hither and give heed.
Give heed indeed. For myself,
It's a Family Guy joke.
You can find me at carmelite.bsky.social, where I'll be sharing plenty more Ghost of Yotei screenshots, if you're interested in seeing that. Of course, thank you to our producer and music man, the talented and handsome Mr. Sean Murray. Please go show him some of that sweet, nasty love. Check out his work on Instagram at barehandsdesigns and barehandsdesigns.com. And you can listen to the next episode on all major podcast platforms, and follow us on Blue Sky at pixelparents.bsky.social. And of course, be like Adam, right into us at pixelparentspodcast@gmail.com with any thoughts and questions. We'd love to hear from you. But until next time, stay safe, stay sane, and thanks for listening.
Lionel Richie. I don't know.
Jesus Christ, that's a worse one.
I couldn't think it.